7 words changed everything. Not a declaration of war, not a scientific discovery, but 7 simple utterances that literally rewrote the story of humanity. Today, we're diving into the most epic word battle in history, Satan's 7 lies in Eden versus Jesus' 7 declarations on the cross. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how these competing narratives shaped human destiny and why this ancient battle of words still determines how we see God, ourselves, and our future. So let's start with something that might surprise people. This wasn't just about fruit and a cross. This was about 2 completely different stories being told about who God really is.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how systematic Satan's approach was in Eden. He didn't just randomly tempt them, he strategically dismantled their trust in God through 7 specific lies, each one targeting a different aspect of their relationship with their creator.
Wait, 7 lies? I always thought it was just the whole you won't die thing.
Oh no, it goes much deeper. Let's look at what actually happened. Satan's first move was, did God really say? That wasn't just a question, it was planting doubt and suspicion about God's character and trustworthiness.
So he's basically saying, are you sure God has your best interests at heart?
Precisely. Then came, you will not surely die, denying consequences and creating false security. He was telling them they could rebel without any real cost.
And that's where things get really dark, right? Because once you break trust and deny consequences, everything else falls apart.
Absolutely. Satan then isolated them through blame. Suddenly, Adam and Eve were pointing fingers at each other and even at God. The unity was shattered, replaced by shame and division.
It's fascinating how words have this incredible power to either build or destroy, like how a single conversation can end a friendship or start a revolution.
Right, and Satan wasn't done. His 4th lie was essentially God is holding out on you, painting God as unfair or distant, someone who doesn't really care about their well-being.
So by this point, he's completely rewritten their understanding of who God is.
Exactly. Then he made the fruit appear good, pleasing, and desirable, creating desire for false satisfaction and craving. He was offering counterfeit fulfillment.
And his 6th lie was the big one, right? You will be like God.
Yes, promoting self-salvation and self-exaltation. He was telling them they could be their own gods, save themselves, determine their own destiny without needing God at all.
Which led to the 7th consequence. They hid from God. Fear, shame, withdrawal from the very relationship they were created for.
The whole concept of hiding from God is so relatable, we still do it today when we avoid difficult conversations or pretend everything's fine when it's not.
So Satan's strategy wasn't just about getting them to eat fruit. He was systematically dismantling their trust in God's character through carefully crafted questions and suggestions.
Exactly. And here's where the story gets incredible. Thousands of years later, hanging on a cross, Jesus speaks 7 utterances that directly counter every single one of Satan's lies.
Wait, that's not a coincidence, is it?
Not at all. Jesus wasn't just dying on the cross, he was literally speaking a counter-narrative to every lie that had ever been told about God's heart toward humanity.
So let's break this down. Satan's first lie created doubt and mistrust. How does Jesus counter that?
With, Father, forgive them. While Satan questioned God's trustworthiness, Jesus reveals God's forgiving heart. He's showing that God's character is exactly the opposite of what Satan suggested.
And against Satan's lie about no consequences, Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise.
Right. Satan denied death's reality, but Jesus offers true life by actually conquering death. He's not denying consequences, he's providing a way through them.
This is getting really powerful. What about the broken relationships Satan caused?
Jesus addresses that with, Women, behold your son, behold your mother. Where Satan isolated through blame, Jesus forms a new family at the cross. He's restoring what was broken.
And then comes what might be the most profound reversal. My God, why have you forsaken me?
This is incredible. Satan painted God as distant and unfair, but Jesus enters our separation to heal it forever. He experiences the abandonment we deserved, so we never have to.
That's... wow. So he's not avoiding our pain, he's walking right into it.
Exactly. Then, against Satan's false satisfaction, Jesus says, I thirst. He thirsts so he can give the water of life. Real satisfaction, not counterfeit.
And the 6th one has to be, it is finished, right?
Yes. Satan promoted self-salvation with, You will be like God, but Jesus declares, it is finished, completing the salvation we could never finish ourselves.
So instead of us trying to be our own gods, God becomes human to save us.
Precisely. And finally, where Adam and Eve hid from God in fear and shame, Jesus says, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. He models full surrender and restores our access to the Father.
This is incredible. So every single lie gets a direct response.
And what's beautiful is that Jesus doesn't just correct the lies intellectually, he embodies the truth. He shows us who God really is through his actions and words.
But here's what I'm wondering. Why does this matter today? I mean, this happened thousands of years ago.
Because we're still living with the effects of both narratives. Every time we doubt God's goodness, we're hearing Satan's first lie. Every time we think we can handle life on our own, that's the sixth lie.
So these aren't just historical events, they're ongoing battles in our minds and hearts.
Exactly. And Jesus' words on the cross aren't just historical either. They're ongoing declarations of truth that we can hold on to when Satan's lies feel overwhelming.
Give me an example of how this plays out practically.
Well, when you mess up and that voice in your head says God could never forgive this, that's Satan's lie about God's character. But Jesus's Father, forgive them, speaks louder.
Or when we're facing consequences for our choices and we want to pretend they don't matter?
Right, that's Satan's you will not surely die lie. But Jesus offers real hope, not denial of consequences, but a way through them to genuine life.
And what about when relationships get broken and we start blaming everyone else?
That's Satan's isolation strategy. But Jesus' formation of a new family at the cross shows us that restoration is possible, that we don't have to stay broken and alone.
This is really hitting me. So every major struggle we face has roots in these original lies.
And every struggle also has an answer in Jesus' words from the cross. When we feel abandoned, we remember he entered that abandonment. When we're thirsting for meaning, he offers living water.
But here's what's really striking me. The cross wasn't just about forgiveness. It was about rewriting the entire narrative about who God is.
Absolutely. Satan spent centuries convincing humanity that God was distant, unfair, unforgiving, holding out on us. Jesus spent 6 hours on a cross proving the exact opposite.
And the beautiful thing is, truth always wins in the end, doesn't it?
It does. Satan's lies might be loud and persistent, but they're ultimately powerless against the truth of who God really is, as revealed in Jesus' life, death, and resurrection.
So when we step back from all this, what we're really seeing is the ultimate battle between two stories about God's heart toward humanity.
Exactly. Satan tells a story of a God who can't be trusted, who's holding out on us, who's distant and unfair. Jesus tells the story of a God who loves us enough to die for us.
And here's what this really comes down to. Every day, we get to choose which story we believe. The lies that lead to death, or the truth that leads to life.
And the incredible thing is, we don't have to figure this out on our own. Jesus' words from the cross aren't just historical facts. They're living truths that speak into our lives right now.
So the next time you hear that voice questioning God's goodness, or telling you to hide in shame, or promising false satisfaction, remember that voice has been lying since Eden.
And remember that there's another voice. The voice that spoke forgiveness, promised paradise, formed family, entered abandonment, satisfied thirst, finished salvation, and opened the way back to the Father.
7 lies tried to destroy humanity's relationship with God. 7 declarations from the cross restored it completely. That's the power of words, and that's the power of truth.
The battle of words that began in Eden was won at Calvary, and that victory changes everything.
Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts. Remember, in a world full of competing voices, the words that matter most were spoken from a cross, and they're still speaking truth into your life today.